when writing scripts, we should avoid as much as possible putting things that are environment dependent in scripts. For example, in all the requests, we have hard-coded the entire address in our script. Now, of course, this works right now, but there can be cases when this can be problematic. For example, what if we want to use this script against a different environment? So we can have different environments like test environment, a pre-production environment, a production environment. So all have a different base URL. Well, with this, if we want to do this, we'll have to go through the script and change each and every address overall and make sure that we don't forget one of them. But there is a better way. So in this lecture, I want to introduce you to environment variable. Now, first of all, we need to discuss a bit how we can set environment variables. I'm going to open up a terminal window. And inside here, let's go ahead and run K6 run and this file. Now, when we are using K6 to run this script, we can also pass some additional data. So for example, we can pass an environment variable. Essentially, we can pass a variable to the script, some external data, and then K6 can help us read that data. And this is very useful because quite often we're using K6 from CI/CD servers, which are supposed to run maybe the scripts against these different environments. So from this perspective, this is super useful. So in order to specify this, we're going to write here -e, which stands for environment. Then we need to specify essentially the name of the environment variable that we want to use. Now, for example, I want to use here something which is a base URL. So I'm going to go ahead and write here base URL. And typically we write this all in uppercase. And then we need to assign a value to this environment variable. So I'm going to use here the equal sign. And then this would be essentially the base URL. I'm going to remove it from here, or at least initially just copy it and paste it here. So now when we're running the script, we're initializing this variable, and then we can read its value in our script. So let me also demonstrate how reading this value looks like. So all we have to do is use console.log, and this will be in a global variable which is called __env. So I'm going to write here __. You can see here it's already popping up. This is a variable that's populated by K6. And then we need to write exactly the name of the variable. Of course, there's no autocomplete here because this hasn't been executed yet. So I'm going to write here base _URL. Okay, let's go ahead and run the script. What we're going to see here being logged is actually the base URL. Now, all we have to do is essentially use this variable in all our scripts. If you don't like the syntax of this, you can simply define another variable in JavaScript and use that in your script as you prefer. But I'm going to demonstrate how we can replace this here. Now, typically when we're doing this, it's not mandatory, but it's quite often that we do it like this. We're using template literals, and we need to replace this single quotes with backticks. So I'm going to replace one here in the beginning and one here at the end. And this allows us to use this syntax with the $. So I'm going to write here $, brace, brace, and then we can put this value inside here. Let me cut that value and put it inside here. And I think this looks pretty good. So again, super important, these are backticks. If you do not use backticks and use single quotes, this will not work. This value will not be replaced. Okay, so let's run it once again to see if it's still working properly. So if we're looking here at failed request, we'll see nothing has failed. Everything is still working as expected. So this is how you can use environment variables in order to configure the base URL of your application. Use that in all your scripts. And then later on, when you need to change something, it's going to be pretty easy just to change this when you're running the command.